Well, wildcard weekend had some interesting results. Now let's move on to the divisional round. What's going on, guys? Six Report here, back with another video. And today we are talking about the divisional round after a wildcard weekend where we saw all but one home team win. Let's see if that trend continues into the divisional round. Alright, on our first matchup is going to be Houston taking on the Ravens. We all know the story with Baltimore. Lamar Jackson signs a new 5-year deal, installing a new offense, new offensive weapons, started off slow, got better as the season went on, and clinched the #1 seed in Week 17, and rested their starters in Week 18. Yeah, it does sound very similar to 2019, but let's just hope that we have a different result than what happened that year when they pretty much got manhandled by the Titans in the divisional round that year. Players are older. Hopefully the teams learn from that. But they're facing a Houston team that really is on fire right now. CJ Stroud, I don't know if you could have had a better performance than he did against Cleveland. This was one against the top defenses in the NFL, and he just picks them apart. And the defense, they made Flacco uncomfortable. He threw a couple of pick sixes. That was just a complete team performance by the Texans against the Browns. And there's a reason they are moving on. They're facing the #1 seed Ravens. And I'm actually going to pick them to move on to the AFC Championship. Green Bay taking on San Francisco. Before I talk about this game, I have to mention the game last week. You know the one I'm talking about. Dallas, Green Bay. How did Dallas blow it like that? Seriously, they got manhandled by Green Bay. The final score wasn't even an indication of how badly they played. You were the 2nd seed. You were undefeated at home. No 7th seed had beaten the 2nd seed, and you're the one that loses. Of course. Just of course. Meanwhile, for Green Bay, has there been a better quarterback during the second half of the season than Jordan Love? I don't think so. He has played amazing, and he played flawless in that game. He had the same QB rating as CJ Stroud. That's how good he performed against a Cowboy defense that we thought was going to give him a wake-up call. That didn't happen. He gave the Cowboys defense a wake-up call. Just absolutely amazing. Meanwhile, for the 49ers, I did mention they have a great defense, a really good defense, and you're talking a trio of Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk. Those guys are dangerous. Brock Purdy, yeah, he's got a lot of weapons to throw to. This should be a very good game, and for the Green Bay Packers, for Matt LaFleur, he has been knocked out of the playoffs twice by the 49ers already. This is his shot at redemption, taking out the #1 seed and moving on to the NFC Championship game. However, I don't think that's going to happen. I got the 49ers winning this game. Tampa Bay taking on Detroit. Tampa Bay, whether you think that it was just the Eagles falling apart or not, Tampa Bay's moving on. They're facing off against the Lions team that just won their first playoff game since 1991. Keep that in mind. 1991. I wasn't even born when the Lions won their last playoff game. Being serious. For the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, when he's on, he's as good as a quarterback as it comes in the NFL. Mike Evans, still a dominant receiver. Villa, he's just a space eater. Do not underestimate this Buccaneers team. You underestimate them, you're going to get punched in the mouth. So Detroit has to be careful, and they got to be careful in the passing game. The Rams did some damage to them when they played them in the wild card round. But one thing Detroit did a great job was in the red zone. Offense, they scored touchdowns. On defense, they held them to field goals. That was the difference in the game. If Detroit can do that again, they should be able to take care of business against the Buccaneers. And I am going with the Lions to move on to the NFC Championship. Yeah, KC taking on the Bills. Oh man, we get a playoff rematch and a rematch from earlier this year. Buffalo won in the regular season. Now they're looking to avenge playoff losses against Mahomes and this Chiefs team. For the Chiefs, they might have had their best game last week against the Dolphins. They shut down Tua on that offense, and Casey's offense was moving the ball down the field very well. But Buffalo, hey, they had a great performance against the Steelers. They just took care of business. Josh Allen was great. Defense was great. This really could be the game of the divisional round. I could see this being a high-scoring game. I could see this coming down to the last minute on a defensive stop. It doesn't matter. Now, Buffalo, they did lose some defensive players in the game against Pittsburgh. We'll see injury-wise with them. In KC, we know how hot and cold their offense has been this year. However, you play your best in times like this. I'm expecting both teams to do that, and I'm expecting a Bills victory. Alright guys, those who I think are moving on to championship weekend, let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.